morning. Welcome back. It's early and it's cold. I'm gonna make the coffee. You hit the subscribe button. You hit the notification bell. We are better chommies. In today's video, we wire up the ignition. We wire up the hooter. And we get the indicators working. I think that's enough for one video, don't you? Before we get too far into this video, guys, it would appear I don't explain all that nicely. This 1,000 user giveaway or 1,000 subscriber giveaway, the idea is follow on Instagram, subscribe on YouTube. And what we're getting is hundreds of people liking the photo on Instagram. It's not what we want. We want follow on Instagram, follow and subscribe on YouTube. That's the purpose and the objective of this whole thing. So it's going to be very, very difficult to choose the winner on this one, but we'll figure it out.
A little longer than a few minutes later.
Okay, so let's start with this ignition system. Now, previously we showed you we've got the on-off button over here with a little red light. And then the actual start button on the top there. You'll remember that from a previous video. I'll put the link in the description. So effectively what this is a pulled apart normal ignition. You turn the key on the first click, you get ignition, and that's the, or your accessory, let me rather say, and that's the equivalent of switching on this yoke. Alright, so that's flipping the switch. You've got accessory, and the little light should come on showing that there's a connection, battery, things like relay, that one of the pin 87 will come on. Right, and then the second turn on your normal ignition is the equivalent of pushing this button here to turn the starter and obviously hopefully start the car. And that's all this is. It's a bunch of connectors with fuses and a relay that's going to probably actuate to engage the starter. Now, I haven't read the instructions yet, so I maybe should do that. That's probably not the worst idea in the world. But what I did notice is that this was very definitely produced in one of the English-speaking countries. Feature: fit to speediness and racing cars, 12 volt power. It are very definitely from one English speaking country. Probably not made in China to our exact specifications. Speediness and racing cars. Okay, so inspecting the back of this relay, we see that these guys did us quite a bit of a favor. We're going to take that red wire from the ignition switch over there and wire it into our relay over here. The black wire will obviously go to the black wire and give us the ground that we're looking for. The blue wire then returns to the ignition source, and what they have kindly done is they breached out the positive or live wire here to the trigger of the relay. So the moment we put power onto this yoke, it triggers the relay and it's obviously automatically engaged, which is what we're looking for.
Several bad puns later.
Day 2, doing wiring, trying to sort out something as simple as switch on the ignition, make the horn work, and make the indicators work. On a positive note, we have help today. Say hello to Francois.
Hello there.
Francois is the owner of this car and for all intents and purposes our sponsor. Yes. Hello Francois, thanks for the help today.
Okay, so today we figured out the wiring from the battery to the ignition switch, but we don't have a traditional ignition key, so we are using a relay as well as a fighter jet launch type switch, safety switch for the ignition. So what we've done is trace the wiring from the positive terminal of the battery through the 40 amp fuse, then it goes to the ammeter B side. From the ammeter positive side, the wiring goes through the wiring loom supplied to our relay input. There, the common and the coil supply, we hooked, we split them up so that we can actually use the toggle switch to energize the coil to give us 12 volts at that point. So whenever we turn that on, the relay clicks, and then we have 12 volts at this point. So Graham can give us an earth there and show us on the ammeter. We have
A voltmeter.
well, the voltmeter, and we can turn it off and then it goes to 0.
And of course, all of this was made possible
Through the very generous donation of Murray Donkin, which is
these here wiring diagrams. Because without those,
No less.
stuff would not have happened.
Just then.
Francois, tell us about the power light that you tried to get working just now.
So part of the switch kit that I bought, which clearly states 12 volt application, they supplied this really good looking light, which would fit quite good into the hole over there. Couldn't get it to work for some reason, and when I eventually took it out, because it's quite difficult to see inside, it's very clearly marked to 20 volt, something Graham did not see, which caused us quite a few minutes of fun to
Oops.
figure out.
Fun.
So there's always fun.
Okay, so guess we're going to have to replace that with a 12 volt equivalent.
Yep.
Later.
Okay, so easy this was not. I don't exactly recommend that you try this unless you've got previous experience with reading wiring diagrams, and even then it's not exactly self-explanatory. I'm so happy that I've got my friends who are electronic engineers who can help us out with this stuff. So the objective for today, 3 things. Number 1, ignition. We've got ignition. Okay, you heard the relay coming on. Maybe if you can just switch that off, Francois, and you can come closer to the ignition on. Right, so we've got ignition, and that feeds the power to all the different systems that we've got. Second objective, the Hooter should work. The Hooter works. Third objective, indicators should work. Other indicator, we've got indicators. I would call that a win, Francois.
Success.
That's success for today.
That's success.
So with that, we're going to thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and go like us on the Instagram as well to be part of the draw for the competition on the 30th, 31st, whatever that's going to be. And see you in the next video.